Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started for today. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and copy down the two definitions that you see coming up on the screen. Just a quick clarification because I just realized there's a typo. This right here is supposed to say normally. That is a Y. That's still a little messy, but it'll at least get you a little closer to what it's supposed to say. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to have this copied down in your Spiral notebooks. If you go over 2 minutes, you're out of luck. Make sure that you have it copied down in your Spiral notebooks, your Algebra 1 Spiral notebooks, which we should all have one. If you don't have one, you're out of luck. Make sure this is copied down. 2 minutes starting now. Oh yeah, somebody go ahead and freeze the video for me, please. Alright, now that you've had your 2 minutes to copy that down, let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to be doing today. Today we're going to be justifying the solution method of an equation. This sounds a little scary, but let's break it down. Justify here means explain with properties. Remember, we just talked about that. So we are going to explain with properties what? Well, the solution method. The solution method, ladies and gentlemen, is how you find your solution. Alright, so in other words, we are going to explain using properties how we found our solution to an equation. Not that complicated. In fact, I'm only going to give you 3 examples, then you're going to work through 2 with either Miss Ramirez or Miss N, depending on your class, and then you have 3 to do on your own, and that's it for today. Simple day of notes. I've got a problem written on the board. What I want you guys to do is please do not write anything. All pencils down right now. Good. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys watch what I do, listen to what I say, and then we'll pause the video and give you guys 1 minute to copy down everything you see. Okay, maybe not 1 minute, we'll give you a little longer, but you will have time to copy it afterwards. Do not copy anything down while I'm working the video. What we're going to do is we need to solve and we need to get y by itself. So when I look at that, that means that either this 3 or this minus 7 need to disappear. If one of the two happens, that's okay. Gets me closer to my answer. But I need to decide which one am I going to get rid of first. Well, I could get rid of the 3. Let's see if that works. In order to get rid of the 3, I would have to divide each term by 3. And remember, we don't like fractions, so let's try to avoid having to use any today. I divide both sides by, or all terms by 3, and this 3 divided by this 3 cancel out. 7 divided by 3, that's going to give us a fraction. We don't like fractions, so I'm going to erase all of this and start over. I know I don't want to divide by 3 now, though. So now I look at that minus 7, and the inverse operation of minus 7 is plus 7. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. These two 7s are going to cancel out, leaving 3y on the left-hand side. And 11 plus 7 is going to give me 18. Now, I need to get rid of this 3 still. So I'm going to go ahead and use the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. And I'm going to divide both sides by 3. These two 3's cancel out, and I get y equals 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Great. This isn't what I wanted to do, though. If you remember, today's goal says we are going to justify a solution method, not just develop a solution method. So now that I've got my solution method developed, this right here is called a solution method, I need to justify it, and I need to justify every step I took. So I'm going to go through, and at the beginning of each new step, or at the end of each old step, I'm going to put a number. So I'm going to just label my steps 1, 2, and 3. Over here, I need to decide what properties allowed me to use those steps? Well, the first thing I have is this 3y minus 7 equals 11. Only reason I know to use that is because it's given to me. It's what was given as my problem. So what I write here, very easy, the word given. Not that complicated so far. Next, I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at number 2. Step 2, to get from 1 to 2, I added 7 to both sides. So that tells me that I did it to both sides. I need to use one of my properties of equality. But which one? Well, what did I do? I added, right? So that tells me I'm going to be using the addition property of equality. Pretty easy so far. I know I did it to two sides, so it has to be a property of equality. I know I added, so it has to be addition. From 2 to 3, I divided by this 3 right here. So because I divided both sides by 3, I'm going to call that the division property of equality. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask to please pause the video, take 1 minute, and copy down what you see on the board. Alright, so now we've got this negative 4x plus 8 equals 20. Again, same process on solving it. I'm going to look at it and go through my numbers and see what makes sense. I've got a negative 4x here, so I've got the negative 4 which needs to disappear, and the plus 8 here that needs to disappear. Well, how do I do that? This time I'm going to start by dividing 4 again and see what happens. I divide negative 4, very important, you got to keep the sign with the number. I divide everything by negative 4 and let's see how it works out for me. Well, those two just cancel and I get x there. 8 divided by negative 4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. So I've now got x minus 2 equals what? Well, 20 divided by 4 is 5. And because of my magical integer triangle, I know that a negative, or a positive divided by a negative, is a negative. So I end up with negative 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to add 2 to finish off solving for x. I get x equals negative 3. One more time, I need to label each step. 1, 2, 3. Step 1 again was just given. How do I know? Because it's the original equation. Step 2 I look at and say, how did I get from step 1 to step 2? Well, that's easy. All the work in blue is how I got from step 1 to step 2, and all I did was divide everything by negative 4. Since I divided everything, it has to be a property of equality. And since I divided, it's my division property of equality. Step 3 now I want to look at, and everything written in purple is what got me to step 3. So I added 2 to both sides, again, because I'm saying both sides. We know it's a property of equality. I just need to know which one. Well, if I added 2 to both sides, that tells me it's going to be the addition property of equality. So let's go ahead and just label that the addition property of equality. Now, if you haven't already copied it down, I'm going to give you guys 45 seconds to finish copying down what's on the board. If someone could please pause the video, and then we will move on to the next problem when we get back. Alright, so now I'm up to negative 2r plus 7 equals 10. This one, what I want you guys to do is I'm going to solve it really quickly for you, then I'm going to give you 3 minutes to come up with a justification on your own. This one, I'm not really going to explain what I do as I solve, I'm just going to solve it. So I subtract 7 from both sides. I get negative 2r equals 3. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. R equals negative 3 halves. Now, if someone could please pause the video for me, go ahead and take 3 minutes. Remember, 3 minutes, only 3 minutes. Copy down this problem and then write a justification for me. You need to fill in the 3 steps. What properties or what givens do I have? Alright, now that we've gone through and done that, I've got one problem up here. I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. If you could please just pause the page, Pause the page. Wow, that sounds ridiculous. If you could pause the video for me, I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 minutes to copy this problem down, solve it, and come up with a justification of your own. Someone go ahead and pause the video for me. Alright, now that I'm back, I've got another problem for you. I told you guys I was going to do 3. You were going to do 2 with help, and then you're going to do 3 more in just a second as an exit ticket or a ticket out the door. Or at least out of my group. I don't know if you're leaving the class yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, let's go ahead and we got negative 3f minus 7 equals 17. If you could go ahead and copy that down for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm getting a little loopy making all these stinking videos, but hey, you got them. So go ahead and copy this down. You guys have 4 minutes, no more, no less. Please remember, 4 minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 minutes to solve this equation. And write me a justification, please. Miss N or Miss Ramirez will be going over it with you. It's completely up to which class you be in, don't you know? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got us 3 problems on this here board, and what I want you all to do is please copy these down. These are going to be your exit ticket today. I know I'm sounding more and more ridiculous as this here video goes on, but this is what happens when you make me do the same video 4 times because my stupid mutts keep trying to fight. So if you guys could go ahead and do this, just copy this down. You've got, well, I'll be nice. I will give you 6 minutes. You got yourself 6 minutes to complete these 3 problems, and at the end of that they will be collected. Make sure you are not only solving but justifying also. Please make sure you are justifying also. You must justify each and every one of these here problems, otherwise you will score a 0. Go ahead and pause the video and get to work on that now. Alright, the last thing we need to do today, guys, is just because if you're seeing this video, I am not coming back all week. Well, unless I'm playing it tomorrow and I'm already in class and we're just testing out to see if these videos actually work. But if you're seeing this video and I'm not in the class with you, I will probably not be back for the remainder of the week. So let's talk about what that week's going to look like for you. This week, we started off today, and you're already done with my group today where you took notes. In the other groups today, you're going to be working on the computers and doing a worksheet, so just be prepared for that. Tomorrow, we are not doing rotations. You're just going to go through a video, you're going to do a worksheet, go through another video, finish a worksheet, take a short break, and then take your quiz. So that's going to be tomorrow or Tuesday. Wednesday, there is no school. You guys all get to stay home and enjoy yourselves. If I were at work, I would have to go to a series of meetings, but since I'm not at work, I get to stay home and play with Josiah. Or go to the hospital and play with Josiah. I really don't know which right now. I'm currently sitting at home. Thursday, you're going to be going in and you're going to take notes on how do I solve an equation if I have x, y, z, whatever the variable is, written more than one time, and then we're going to finish up those notes on Friday. Your next quiz, I believe, is planned for next Thursday at this point because we're running a day behind. That's okay. But next Thursday, so Thursday, September 26th will be your next quiz. Be ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm done. So what I need you guys to do is go ahead and pack up your spiral notebooks and get ready to rotate. And as soon as Miss Ramirez or Miss Hine gives you the go ahead and rotate and move on to your next group.